In this sneak peek of our Microsoft Clarity course, we're going to look into lesson 3 and actually going to look into setting up and using Microsoft Clarity custom tags. Let's go ahead and check it out. So when we are looking for Microsoft Clarity custom tags, I'm going to teach you how to fish, and we're going to type in Microsoft Clarity custom tags just because it's always good to kind of know how to find out information. Honestly, this is how majority of our instructors are answering questions for our students and for our members and for our clients. And this is a skill that we feel everyone should have. Obviously, it's a Google skill. My first grader just finished a project and they were learning how to use Google. I was kind of surprised. They're like, yeah, we're learning Google. So everyone needs to know this skill. And the reason we're showing this so you can always go through and find the appropriate support docs, but possibly maybe someone is doing something super cool with it that you hadn't thought of. So this is just a great way to learn how to use that skill and to be able to always make sure that you're using the most current version. So custom tags. As we have mentioned before, a custom tag, we're going to come into our dashboard and click on this filter thing. The custom tags is another way to filter your information, either your dashboards, your recording, your heat maps, all the things. You can either include or even exclude. And we'll kind of show you more about how we got there in just a moment. And you can always click again more to learn more here. I love both the methods of clicking with it here, but then also Googling again because someone else might have something super cool that we would want to know about. And go away. And so, like it just said, hey, it's going to be in the filtering. And so the reason why we're pointing that out is so as we're kind of thinking, what could you use a custom tag for? We know the end result. We know we're going to be able to filter it. It's going to be able to be used as a filter. So you have to think, what do I need to filter by? What questions do I have to do this? And that's another real quick reminder that majority of people will not need to do anything with these extra filters that we're talking about with the smart events or custom tags. Majority of people will not need to use those, especially in the beginning. So if you're just getting started with Microsoft Clarity, just watch this lesson and these topics about these things to know that they're possible, to know that it is a thing that you could do and level up in there whenever you need it, because you're going to be able to answer so many questions with the base tool. You're going to be able to answer so many questions with the heat maps and the recordings and your dashboard. You're going to be able to do that. And with the incredible amount of filtering you're already able to do, most likely you won't need the smart events or the custom tags for quite some time. Once you get to the point where you're like, I need to be able to answer this very specific question because you've grown your skills so much, that's when you go through and do this. It is great to know what is possible. So it's okay that you're watching this now and you're learning this now, but just don't be overwhelmed. You're like, crap, now I got to do that too. The answer is no. The answer is no, you don't. And to be completely honest, we don't have these set up for any of our clients because the other filtering tool, the out of the box filtering tool is phenomenal. We have not had a need to do this for that. And plus we're able to kind of have a little bit more input on the way things are built and done. So we haven't had a need to. However, if you may not be able to have as much input, or there's like such a big corporation, you don't get that input, these might be useful. So, but again, when you're ready. All right, so let's come back to our handy dandy help doc. We've already kind of mentioned this portion, and it's basically saying that we need to put a code snippet onto your website. So in order for us to do that, we want to go into a place called Google Tag Manager, and I'm going to pull up our Tag Manager in one of these pages. So we're going to tagmanager.google.com, and we're going to hop over. We're going to make sure that we get into the right container. I think it's this one. And here we go. And so this is just a really good reminder. See, this is us playing with things this long ago. I have not deleted it because I saw this the other day. I was like, ooh, I need to make sure I don't delete something someone actually needs. So I want to go ahead and have that. Right now I'm in the default workspace, but just as a pro tip, always come in here and create your own. And so we're going to call this MS Clarity workspace. You can always put your name, your company, whatever it is. So that way, if let's say, there's a launch happening or, another vendor's in here and they're publishing their pixels or whatever it is, your stuff doesn't get published with theirs or their stuff doesn't get published with yours. So you don't, so just it kind of keeps things nice and clean. So we can see that we're here. So if we want to go through, I'm going to get rid of some of these extra tabs that we don't necessarily need. So here's the one. So it's saying we need to have a snippet into our website. And so snippet is just a fancy way of saying we need a HTML or code HTML. So we're going to go to our tags and we're going to click on new. And we're going to click on this little guy here. And because it says we need a snippet, a code snippet, we know that's custom HTML. And we're going to go ahead and paste this in here. And so it's saying clarity set key value. So we know set is the action that it's saying, like, hey, we need you to set this. We do have lots of lessons and topics about JavaScript and a lot more deeper in Google Tag Manager. So when Google Tag Manager Beyond Basics. And so you have that back there if you want to learn more about this JavaScript and scripting and data layers and all this other stuff. But for this lesson, I'm just going to give you a high level because again, this is whenever you're ready for this, you can do it. Here is an example of this right here. So it's saying clarity. So it's kind of identifying the program and saying, I need you to do this action. This is flight, so the key is flight, and the value is test flight 1. And so this is the thing that we're trying to identify. So maybe we could say sales page, and then this right here would be maybe the page title. Or if this is page post type, and this is the actual page post type, the value that we are able to get. Or this could be page author, and this could be the value that we are able to get. So that is the way that we could go through that. So coming back to our tag, let's say we're going to go ahead and save this real quick. So because we need to be able to see what do we have access to. Clarity testing for now. That's all we're going to say. We're going to save. We're going to save it without a trigger. That is perfectly fine. And we're going to go through and preview super, super quick. And I want to show you something that you're also going to see that is a boo-boo of what I just did. And hopefully you'll see it when I see it. And I'll see if it actually lets us do it. We're uncached, so it should work. All right. And we're coming in to the site. And we are here. We have all kind of cookie consent stuff going on. Yay, because it's a testing site too. Okay, so we are here on our site. And what we want to do is come into kind of probably where we have our container loaded and go to our data layer is where we want to go because we want to know what information we have to be able to pass through. Most of the time, again, you're going to come through this with a question. Obviously, we're teaching this, and so we're going to come at it at a different angle, but maybe you want to be able to come into your dashboard and say, I need to be able to have a filter that says by page author. And so for right here's the page post type, and I could see down here, these are the pages that we have. So that way, ooh, there's all these different blog homes. And there's all the posts. There's blog home is one, and then posters. So I can see all the different blogs right here. If I go ahead and apply this, has only been a few days of data, but I could see all the different blogs here. Maybe you also want to know the blog author or whatever it is that you're trying to do. So fantastic for content marketers to be able to kind of slice and dice by that. Obviously, we have a WordPress site, so we're able to kind of check some boxes on some plugins in the behind the scenes and be able to kind of shove this information through. But obviously you can work with your developer to get anything passed through to the data layer. You can technically grab anything from any of these things and triggered at any time. The custom tag could be on technically all pages. That's what this one is right here. It could be on all pages. It could be after 10 seconds. It could be after, and you could do absolutely anything on here. So most of you are probably familiar with what we have, our eyes on the journey. And so where you would want to, so maybe you would want to know, you could send through and use this trigger in the exact same way you have this. So let's finish up and use an author, and then we'll also show how could you use something else with it. So let's go through and find our data layer. So we have author ID, but I probably want page post author. And so I'm looking at the format because it's really important. It's page with a capital P, capital A, post author. Okay, so now I know we need to go to Tag Manager. We need to go to Variables. I'm going to go through this a little bit faster because, again, this is taught in other courses. And so we're just going to kind of go through and say you're new. We're going to click on here. And because I know I'm looking for a data layer variable, because that's where the information is currently. It's in our data layer. So I need a data layer variable to go grab this for me. If we were doing a different method, like a click or something else, that's not the path that we would take. So I need to find the information. So page post author, and then I'm going to call this a DLV. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and save this. And so now we can go back to our tags, and then I'm going to go back to, pro tip, switching it by like the last edited, so I can find our little guy that we were doing a while ago. And then we could name this properly, custom HTML, and we're going to call this clarity, and we're going to call this page post author. And so now we know that's what we're doing here. We're calling it page post author, and then we're going to look for our data layer variable of this page post author. And let's go ahead and come back over here. I want to see if it was doing it for over here. What should have happened, let's see if it's going to do it. I might be cached, so it might not do it for us just yet. But one thing it will do, because, let's go ahead and save this. Oop. Let's add a trigger. We're going to go ahead and add this to all pages. And so because this is a custom HTML, and if you are familiar with custom HTML, you would know that this format looks a little bit weird. You're used to seeing it a little bit colorful. And what most likely is going to be happening on the page, once I clear my cache and everything, I'm actually going to do a hard refresh and see what happens. There should be a little portion that's going to be coming down at the bottom of the page. See if it's anywhere. That is basically that custom HTML code popping up. We were seeing it in some places as we were going through and testing some things, but let's see, it's not going to pop up right now, but that's okay. But the thing that we would want to make sure that we do, if you do see that code, it's popping up on your pages in random spots, like it literally looks exactly like this on the bottom of your page. And I actually might have a screenshot for you. Yes, I do. I want to show you the screenshot. Give me a sec. It's going to upload. But what we need to do is tell it, hey, we need to open the script and close the script. So we're going to have this and there. And we're opening and closing that script there. And so that's just, again, little custom HTML, JavaScript, all that fun stuff that we know there. We're going to go ahead and save. And we can even come in here and say like, hey, is that's the same thing. You could technically copy and paste. I do wish on their custom tags they would put the script and script in here, because I do think that's going to be a mistake that a lot of people accidentally do. And so here is what I was seeing at the bottom of our page. That's exactly what it was looking like on our page as I was going through and playing around with this. So I went too fast first. And so I'm going to make our formatting on here. So clarity custom tag to be the same as the other one. And so they match the formatting match. It's easy to find those two. And so now we have page post type and page post author. Now you might be wondering, can we combine the two? In simple JavaScript custom HTML, you should not have a problem combining the two, but just as you're practicing and getting used to this, I would say you can keep them separate. And then if you are comfortable with JavaScript, you can definitely combine them. And if they have the same trigger, and and you could do that. So how would we do this if we wanted to do something like another custom event like Eyes on the Journey or something like that? So we could go through, I'm going to go ahead and duplicate this, or copy, that's the word we're going to use there. And so instead of page post author, I can type in IOJ, let's say this is the first step, so IOJ1. Or I can call this IOJ impression. And then I could have, actually, impression would be the other part, so I can IOJ. And then impression would be here, would be the very first one. And you could do I1 impression, or however it is that you want to do that. And then we would edit our trigger, and then we would just choose our trigger to make the same one that we're using everywhere else. So obviously this is something that we could send to Facebook, to Google Ads, and we can send the exact same signal to Clarity as well. However, side note, a lot of what you're able to do in Clarity, coming back to our filters, a lot of what you're able to do in Clarity could also be done in, like, with our Eyes on the Journey, so we can have for the 10 seconds, and I think there is, or 1 second, then 10 seconds, then there's a time duration and scroll. And so obviously Clarity is seeing all of that already and able to filter by all of that. So a custom tag might be redundant. Obviously you can do it if you just want to play around and be fun with it. It definitely is not going to hurt anything, but if it's too complicated for you, you don't necessarily have to have it. The one thing that Clarity may not necessarily have as a filter could be those element visibility things. Or possibly if you want to see, like, of the people that watch the video halfway through. Those type of things that Clarity doesn't necessarily have absolutely could be a fantastic thing. Like, I only want to see the people that, saw the button reveal, or I only want to see this. So those could be excellent things that you might already have a trigger for. This one is just only a 1 second one, but maybe instead of doing, not that one, instead of doing the first IOJ, maybe you're like, I really need to see, this is our testing one, so it's only says 45 seconds, but maybe this one was the an element visibility one, and then you can change whatever it is. So that way you could filter by the people that are doing that there. I'm going to go ahead and not save this one. I'm going to discard my changes there. And so we now have page post author. We've already had type. So I'm going to go ahead and get other previews, and we're going to preview again and jump in. And we're going to go and check out our information that we're able to see. And so since we said all pages, I would expect it to fire here. So we have the page post type and page post author, and we're going to click on our different tags and see what is actually available at that time. And so you can even see page post author here is Mercer. And then let's go over to our blog and kind of see if this information is going to change. And here we go. Let's click on here just to go to a random page, and we could see, or actually there we go. We went to too many pages at once. There we go. So we are now on this particular page, and we can see that this one fired, and we're going to come back down to when it actually fired. And we could go to our variables. Remember, our page post type is post, and the author in this case is also Mercer here. So if we had multiple authors here, we'd be able to go through and filter by that. So the next step that we have is to go ahead and submit, and we're going to publish this in our teaching space. And I would expect in a matter of hours, as the page gets traffic, that eventually on our custom tags, we're going to start seeing page post author, and we'll be able to start seeing that come through here. If you need more and want to see the entire course for Microsoft Clarity, make sure you look at joining the Measurement Marketing Academy. You can simply go to https://measure.tips/get academy or click on the link below. We'd love to have you. If you need to know more, just always reach out to us. We're always here for to answer your questions. And I guess we will see you next time.